Hey guys, Fozzie here, and welcome to another edition of Fozzie at Home. Okay, so it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of Christopher Lloyd. I mean, I love him. I even got a chance to meet him at Comic-Con over this summer. And since I really like him, I figured it's time, I guess, I got to attend best videos of him. I actually wanted to do this for a couple months, but I didn't do it last month because it was Halloween month. I didn't do it in September because I was going to be away for a lot, so now I'm giving you the tweet. Now, some of you haven't heard of them, but trust me, if you can get a chance to see any of these will be good. Even if you don't like the movie, if you're a fan of Christopher Lloyd, you'll like. So, here are my top 10. And don't worry, even though my edit button isn't working, I promise to show you like pictures, and I'll even maybe send a link in this like music with my best performances. So here they go. My first one is The White Knight and Alice in Wonderland. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Yes, there was indeed another live-action Alice in Wonderland, and yes, Christopher Lloyd was in it. And for those who haven't read the book, yes, there is a character called the White Knight. And now the thing is, like this, Christopher wasn't even in this movie for more than 5 minutes, but his performance still was memorable. I mean, he was a zany character. He was like this guy who had all these new ideas, and he really, you could tell, was somebody who Lewis Carroll wrote for his books. It was really a good performance, and we didn't even need to see more. It was just so good. Now, though, like this movie, you don't hear of too much anymore. If you can see it, it's a really good one. Okay, next one is it's Henry and the Dream Team. This is a movie that was about all these mental patients who go in a baseball game, and on the way, their doctor gets attacked. One doesn't speak, and then Billy was played by Michael Keaton. He's like the best one out of all of them. He just was obsessed. We were obsessed with women, and oh, but then like and then we got like this other character in there who is played by the late and the great Peter Boyle. In case you don't know who Peter Boyle is, he plays Frank on Everybody Loves Raymond. Well, anyway, he plays a character named Jack. Stephen Force plays a character named Albert, but Henry, who is this garbage obsessed guy who likes to have everything cleaned, but like at the same time likes to do good. Like I like him for two reasons. Like he's really a nice guy, but like he's also a zany character. Like in New York City, where a bunch of people, and this is only a stereotype, it's not true. A bunch of people are rude and throw stuff all over the street. Again, that's only a stereotype. It isn't true. Trust me, I've been in New York a lot of times. There are tons of good people, but and it's just so funny to see them. All of these performances were good, but I really like this one. Okay, the second one was the third one. I'm sorry, is actually the one that introduced me to Christopher. Al Angels in the Outfield. Angels in the Outfield was actually a remake of this one in the 1930s, but. I don't know when it was, but I read different places the 40s. Anyway, this kid named then watch, I start seeing things, like seeing all these angels, and he wants to just wants a family, and his family says when the angels win the pennant, they'll come back. So then he prays for a miracle, and like the same, and like Christopher played the same role named Al. He really reunites with his actually co-star Tony Danza, and Danny Glover's in it as well. And like he always throughout the movie, like he is Al is always there, like to make sure, like that Waza always will be guided, and like he's only somebody who he can see. And like, even if you don't like this movie, which I think is impossible not to, unless either you haven't seen it, or like you just hate like inspirational stories, it's a good. You'll at least like the performance. So that's the character of Val. Just let's see. The fourth one is Dennis Van Welker in Camp Noah. That movie is so hilarious. I mean, like, it's like this kid that was getting sent away to camp, but he doesn't want to go there. So he pays this guy named Dennis, who is like this really crazy guy there, to operate a camp that is going to give kids the best summer. He is always getting into one thing after another. Everything he does throughout the whole movie is fun. Like, first it rains, right, and nobody can go out. So Dennis he arranges it so like the kids can all have Olympics in the rain, and it's so funny. Then he gets a date with like this doctor who he takes the kid to, and he says he'll pay him $1 a bean to eat his lima beans, and it's so funny. Like the kid like eats about 70. It's like such a funny movie, and like then like he's got like all these kids, different kids, think that they're going away to like the camp that they signed him up. So he has to switch. Dennis has to switch roles, and it's so funny how they do it. I mean, I totally recommend this movie, and and the good news is I think it's still pretty easy to find. So I definitely would recommend this one. Okay, this one is kind of a lesser known role. The fifth one is a lesser known role, but it still gives me a good laugh. Mr. Hunch in sorts of Dr. Seuss. Mr. Hunch was now this is if you like Dr. Seuss and you like Robin Williams and you like Christopher Lloyd, and I love all three you'll really enjoy this. This is good. Like it really brings the Dr. Seuss characters to life, and it also talks about Ted Geisel throughout his whole life. Unfortunately, they don't do a live. They do recite a cartoon voice, but they don't do a live action or accidents. Anyway, the character Mr. Hunt, like he's something Dr. Seuss would have been. Like he's always like trying to get people to eat all these things, but then he convinces this one named Kathy, coincidentally played by Kathy and Jimmy, to eat it, and like. He's always like doing all these funny things like with his hands, and like even the way he dresses is good. But like I really like the way that he goes and rhymes. Like he always rhymes like in a rap sort of way. I mean that is good. I mean this whole movie is good. Well, I mean, I guess it's really not a movie, it's a documentary, but like, if you need somebody to play a live-action Christopher Lloyd character, a live-action Seuss character, then Christopher Lloyd was the perfect choice. Maybe next to Jim Carrey and the Grinch, in my opinion, but definitely Christopher Lloyd for that. Okay, now, this next one is, by the way, these are going from 10 to 1. I may have the order I'm mentioning it, like the first one on my list is actually down from 10. So So this, so like the actual 10 one is going to be top one on my list. So 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 sorry if this seems low on the list. This actually is quite high, but and this one is actually a tie because I can't decide which of these I like better. Um, okay, I'm gonna start over. No, I'm gonna. On a weekend. This next one's actually a tie. This next one's actually a tie because I really like because really honestly both these characters really are amazing. I mean, and both of these are good villains, and I just really like them. Judge Dredd from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Rasputin from Anastasia. I liked Rasputin because well, like, you know, he was a really scary villain, but he was always really did a lot of good. He was like really just like a lot of real musical and all over there. You know, he was really adventurous. And I really enjoyed him. He's also somebody who's so what a really good actor Christopher is without you having to see a whole lot of him. So I really like that about him. Let's see. What I also liked, but Judge Dredd, however, how can you not include him? I mean, in the first place, Judge Dredd, you always know is like an evil mastermind. Like, even the way he moves and the way he talks, it is really good. I mean, it's also really good because, like, Judge Dredd, while he does look like Christopher Lloyd, and does look like a character Christopher would play, I don't know, there's just something unique about him. So, I really can't decide, so this is going to be my fifth pick, I think. Okay, so let's see, the next one is Jim Ignatowski on Taxi. Now, this I think is the role that if it didn't launch Christopher's career, it should have. I mean, he was such a really scary villain. I mean, you never really even knew what was up with that's my impression right there of Jim right now. No, in real life Jim was a pretty nice guy, but like he did a lot of things normally the average person wouldn't do. But really though, like you never know why he's like this until you see an episode. In spite of everything, Jim has a really kind heart and Jim is a really loving man. And like it's nice that most of the people Taxi Garage know that. I would be a fool not to put him on it, so I'm gonna say definitely Jim. By the way, he's also a really talented pianist and as well as has a really giant crush on the late Martha Wallace. Okay, 3. Now, I know this is kind of an underrated one, and I should have put a more popular one, but this should have been a real well-known movie, so I have to say this. Professor Plum and Clue. Now, any performance that Christopher does is amazing, but this performance really brings the character to life. I mean, with a good cast that says Martin Mull, Michael McKean, Tim Corey, and Annette O'Toole, you can't ever go wrong. But Christopher, like, you really think he could have done it throughout the whole movie. And, like, believe it or not, after seeing Christopher's performance, I had to wonder if the character was inspired by him because Christopher did it so well. I mean, like, okay, so now we're on to the last two. Okay. Now, it was kind of hard for me to decide which one should go where. But one of them has to go somewhere. So for that one, I'm going to say this. The last one is going to be The number 2 is going to be Doc Brown. Now, Doc Brown is amazing. He's a good genius. He's always like, determined to be a mad scientist, and determined to be determined to he's like, it's like when he first encounters Marty, he's like, oh, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. But like, Doc Brown, in truth, like, he's really like an adventurous person. He's always somebody who sees into the future. He's always somebody who comes up with a new invention. And even when he comes up with a new invention, he always is amazing and knows the way to fix the future and fix the past. And I'm sorry if that's a spoiler to a lot of people, but I had to say it. It was really so good. And let me see. And the last I think of his performance, Uncle Fester in the Addams Family. This was the role that made me meet him. I mean, Uncle Fester is one of my favorite characters. I mean, I was him for Halloween, and I must say, though, I also like the Uncle Fester on a TV show and in the music hall as well. But, thank you. So, thanks a lot, guys. You have a good day.